Hello everybody, I'm still out in the garage working on the car. Let me show you what I got here. The voice coils on my speakers died, and I bought these two speakers off of my nephew. He bought a Grand Prix that he was going to demo derby, and he said the stereo worked fine, so I just bought these speakers, and all I did was disconnect the modular jack and plug it into them. I'm getting ready to fire up the car, or the radio anyway, and see if they work, and if they do, then we're going to go ahead and install them in my Grand Prix. All right, let's go see if they're working in the trunk. So far they sound good. Well, both the speakers work. I figured I better get them shut off before I get busted for copyright infringement. It's kind of funny I mentioned that because I did that video on the NSRA Street Rod Nationals, and I had photographed or videoed a bunch of amazing cars. I mean, they were all so freaking cool. I didn't realize in the background they were playing some music from the 50s, and I couldn't even hear it. It was so low, but when I uploaded my video, evidently it goes through some type of a filter where they check for signatures like that, and they heard the music, and I got notified that I would have to take my video down. So anyway, I think it's time to start installing these speakers. I'm going to see what has to happen. They sound really good, and I am ready to have some speakers in my car. In the summertime, when it gets hot, the voice coils are bad in my speakers. So in the summertime, when it gets hot, it expands, and I get beautiful sound. In the wintertime, when it's cold, metal contracts, and I lose that connection, and I get no music out of the back speaker. So it's kind of an odd sound, but let's see what it's going to take to get these speakers installed. Looking at the speakers, it appears they mount from the top and not the bottom. So I'm going to have to go into the car and figure out how this piece, the speaker box, mounts so that I can remove it, and then I'll be able to swap the speakers. I have no clue how it comes undone. There are no screws up top, and there are no screws down here that I can see. I think what I'm going to have to do is go get online and take a look at how these speakers come out. Because like I said, I don't want to break them. I just want to be very careful and get them out, but I don't know. I'll be back in touch when I figure something out. I did a quick search online, and it looks like it's really pretty simple. You just have to remove the seats. Now, the bottom seat of the car has a pull tab that you can pull, and it releases the latch. My pull tabs, they're made of plastic, and the seat's been out several times, so they're broke off. So what I end up having to do is push back on the seat and lift up, which is the same as pulling the little plunger forward, and the seat will lift out. So let me show you. I've already got the driver's side done. Kind of hard to see, but I'm just going to push back and lift up, and then the seat is loose. It's really dark in there, I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. With the lower seat out, and I'll vacuum whatever little bit of debris there is under there, there are two nuts. There's a nut right there, and there's one on the other side over there, and there are two bolts, one right there and one on the other side right there. I'm going to go ahead and remove the two nuts and the bolt, and the top seat should lift up and then drop right out, and then we'll have access to the body panel that holds the speaker assembly. I'm in the shop and I'm searching for an 18mm socket, and let me show you what I've got. This is the mess I'm digging through. Now I have drawer inserts in my toolbox to sort all these, so another job we're going to work on today is we're going to get all this junk put where it goes. Because of the mess I have in that toolbox, I never found my 18mm socket. I did find an 11/16, that's close enough, and I'm going to use it to remove these two bolts. We've got the back seat out, both the lower section as well as the upper section, and right there you'll see that little plug, and there's one on that side, and that's what releases that body panel, and that'll let me raise that up and get to the bottom of, or actually get to the top of the speaker. This is part of that panel, so it'll lift up out of the way, and I'll be able to go ahead and remove the four nuts holding the speaker in and drop the new speaker into place. You can see I've just slid that panel down, and there are the speakers. So all that's left to do is remove these four screws from each speaker and drop the new speakers in, and we're ready to put this thing back together. I'm just loosening the four bolts that hold the speakers in. I've already removed the other speaker from its case because I'm just going to leave the same cases in the vehicle. There's no sense in replacing those. I'll go ahead and finish this up off camera because it's kind of hard to hold the camera and remove these little bolts. I did check the speakers. There is no difference. There's not a left and right speaker. You know, sometimes they have cones that are angled a specific way, you know, to kind of direct the sound, but there's nothing like that. So either one will go in the slot. I'm gonna go ahead and take both these out, drop the two new ones in, get them plugged up, test them one more time, and then we'll do any type of cleaning we can do. I mean, I've got pretty easy access to the window right now, so I think I'll probably go as far as to clean my window and vacuum out any, you know, anything I can get out of any debris I can get out of the window and then the back seat area. And then I'll start reassembling everything, and I'll be back in touch. I've got both speakers mounted in the back window. I'm at the point now where I need to do some cleanup. I'm gonna wash the window down because I got really good access down low on the window where, you know, the speakers and that fascia, that trim was in the way before, so I can really get in there and clean. And I'm gonna vacuum out all along the back panel, you know, along the window edge and everything. But cool story, very cool story. Very first CD I ever bought, I bought a CD player for my home. The very first CD I ever bought was Boston. You know, the song More Than a Feeling was on that CD. And loved that CD because of how dynamic the music was, the highs and the lows, it was all over the board. And that CD was the first CD I ever played in my home CD player. It was also the CD that I used to use and still use. Like about a year and a half ago at work, I installed a surround sound system in a conference room, and I hopped on the internet and pulled up Boston's More Than a Feeling. And I do that because every time I put a CD player in a car or a new set of speakers, I always test it out with that CD. Turned on the radio. Guess what song came on the radio? It was insane. The DJ was talking, said a few things, and then wham, here comes Boston's More Than a Feeling. So I'm plugging my speakers up, and More Than a Feeling's blowing out of the back speakers. Both of them work great, so I'm really happy. I got to get this car put back together, but before I do, once again, I got a little bit of an interruption. I've got club today from 1:30 to 3, and with me, that usually goes to about 4. Club always goes a little long. It's pretty cool hanging out with the guys and talking. And then after club at either 5 or 5:30, I've got an archery meeting. All 3 of my children want to shoot archery at school this year, so they're having a big parents meeting. So I've got to go to the parents meeting, which means I'm not going to put the seats and stuff back in until I get back because it's 12:30. My meeting's at 1:30. I got to get in the house, eat a sandwich, take a shower, and get ready to go to this meeting. So I'm going to let things go for just a little bit, but man, I could not be happier with the sound I'm getting from the speakers. I gave $10 for these speakers from my nephew. Like I said, he had a Grand Prix. It was like a 2002 or 3. And he was going to demo derby it, which he did. He demo derbied it. And I bought the speakers and a bunch of other odd and end parts from him really cheap. So couldn't be happier, man. Best $10 I spent. I'm glad to have music back. It's been a couple of years since I've had music in the wintertime. But I'm going to let you guys go. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to close this video and get it to you guys. When I come back and put everything back in, if there's any interest, let me know. I will shoot putting everything back together. Otherwise, I'll just, you know, put the seats back in the car. It's not a big deal. Catch you guys later. Have a great evening, and come back and see me again real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.